Hey everybody, what's going on? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I am here, I'm on the beach now, and you can see the beach, and it's a nice beach in a small town of Denmark. And as you guys know, I've been on a tour. I went to Iceland and Denmark and Sweden. And next year, we are going to take a trip to Africa. So if you're wondering if I go to black countries, the answer is absolutely yes. But I go to all the countries because I like to learn from all the people, all the cultures. So you guys can hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me and hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to ask you guys this question. How many of you saw the news about the brawl that happened in Montgomery, Alabama? Did y'all see that? How many of y'all saw that? It was it was quite a thing, right? It was kind of crazy, and some of you have been asking me to talk about it. Hey, Yashika, how you doing? And George and Demetrius Carter, and my name is Corey. I see y'all. I see y'all. Tiffany Mitchell. Yeah, and so a lot of people were reaching out to me saying, Dr. Boyce, what do you think about this fight? What do you think about what happened? And so I wanted to share a couple of perspectives that, and I'll every now and then I'll show you the beach I'm walking on, and I don't have a ton of time because I'm about to do our stock market investing class. By the way, I have a Black investors group on Telegram. If you want to join, where it's all financial, it's all about sort of talking about stock picks and stuff like that. So if you want to join the Telegram channel, it's drboycetelegram.com. It's totally free and it'll improve your life significantly. Oops, I just stepped on something. So anyway, so here's what happened and here's what I think. So a lot of you guys know that there was a big fight that happened in Montgomery, Alabama. Apparently, some white dudes they beat the brakes off some white dudes who basically attacked a security guard who was, as the mayor of Montgomery stated accurately, he was doing his job. You know, they decided that they wanted to go and, you know, I guess they were probably drinking the white dudes and I don't know, maybe they weren't drinking, maybe they just like to fight. I have no idea. But for whatever reason, they decided when the security guard asked them to move their boat, that they decided to become physical with this guard. Clearly, that was wrong. Clearly, it was messed up. And a lot of people were watching. A lot of people were mortified when they saw it. The guys didn't want to move their boat as the security guard told them to do. And they were clearly, in my view, in violation of the rules. And so I mean, the one thing about this is it's pretty clear cut, right? It's not really he said, she said. It's more like, no, they did it and and then we responded. And so after the white guys decided to beat up on the black dude, you had some brothers that really jumped in and did exactly what black men are supposed to do, which is to help out when somebody's in distress, and really not even just other black people, but really anybody. If I saw a man beating up on a lady and or something like that, I'd jump in to help. In this particular case, they saw a brother getting jumped, and they jumped in, and apparently the white guys, their disposition changed pretty fast because they knew they were about to get that ass whooped. And I admit that the fighter inside of me enjoyed watching it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was actually kind of very entertaining, like a lot of you did. It was unfortunate, but one thing I can say, give me a yes if you agree. How many of y'all just kind of want to feel like you want to clap it up for the black man? How many of y'all feel like kind of like it was like an awkward moment of black pride. Like, not that you should want these things to happen, but don't start none, won't be none. Fuck around and find out. It was kind of the fuck around and find out protocol. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed watching our team win. And I'm not, and it wasn't to say that it's because I dislike white people. I don't dislike anybody, but it is to say that I like the idea of seeing black people help each other out. I really do. I like the idea of us seeing somebody in distress and stepping in to support that person. I think that this is something that, in that regard, it's something that, creates pride within some of us, because we're so used to us sitting there watching one of our people get, taken down, right? You're at your job and you see that a black person was clearly the victim of racism and they get fired for no reason, and everybody else just stands around and watches, hoping that they don't get fired next. Or you see a situation where maybe like that guy in the Chicago who's beating the hell out of that black woman. Y'all remember that when she was punching her, punching her, punching her, and people were standing around holding cameras and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's doing that," but nobody actually intervened. And that's one reason why I like the Nation of Islam, because I think if a member of the Nation of Islam was anywhere in that vicinity, he would have intervened. He would have intervened. And so I don't agree with, I don't condone violence. I'm not a person that, I think violence should be the last resort. But the reality that I have to explain to my wife, who is a pacifist, her parents were both pacifists, is I explained to her that sometimes violence is required. It's not something that you look for. It's not something that you want. But sometimes if something happens to you and somebody hurts somebody you care about, it is the time to retaliate or a time to respond. So while I certainly am not going to tell you what to think about what you saw on that camera, I can say that this reaction, the national reaction, I mean, think about this. The national reaction to this fight was pretty massive, considering that fights happen all the time. Brawls go down all the time. You know, there's always stuff where people get jumped on, beat up, things happen. Why is it that this brawl got so much attention and all the other brawls did not? Well, it was race. It was race. If this had been a bunch of white boys beating up on white boys, nobody would have said anything. If it were a bunch of brothers, a bunch of black dudes beating up on black dudes, that happens all the time. So, but what made this interesting for a lot of people, including myself, was the fact that there was a black guy getting beaten up on by a big group of white boys, and then a bigger group of black dudes decided they were going to even the score and protect their brother. I, without condoning the violence and all that, you know, but understanding the nature of and the necessity for physical retaliation under specific circumstances, I actually kind of enjoyed the idea that they stood up for him. I believe they stood up for him partly because he was black, not just because he was innocent. I think an innocent person would have gotten protection. I think that we protect everybody. We really do. We do a good job. I know a lot of guys that will, if they see a woman getting beat up on, they're going to jump in. If they see a man getting beaten up on by himself, white or black, they're going to jump in. But the fact that he's black definitely made a difference here. And that's probably what drove the national attention, because it almost became emblematic of a race war. Right? It was like a miniature version, like a battlefront of a broader disconnect on race that has existed in America for a very long time. It reminds me of when O.J. Simpson got tried and he was acquitted. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember how when O.J. got acquitted, there were two groups of people. There were the black people who were jumping up and down and screaming and hollering about how happy they were. And then there were the white people who were crying and sad and said, this is an injustice. Oh my God, this is terrible. And so part of the reason they were so upset was because the tables had been flipped on them for the first time. They'd never really seen scenarios where the system seemed to work in favor of us and against them. And in this particular case, think about this. This is interesting. These brothers weren't just defending a black man. They were defending a guy who's pretty much like a cop. They were pretty much defending, I mean, he's a security guard, but he's still kind of a cop. Like, that's like a mini cop. Right, so this adds another layer of complexity to racial dynamics, because it says that black people don't hate all cops. Black people just don't like dirty cops, and in fact, there are some cops, and I encourage you to remember this. There are good black cops out here that deserve support. You know, so I like the idea that they said, you know what, we're not worried about the fact that you're a cop. What we're worried about is the fact that you're a brother. And as a brother, you're getting hurt right now and you're being treated unfairly. We're going to step in and support you. So again, you know, I know that these violent acts are very complicated, but I'll tell you what, I'm like the rest of y'all. I saw it and I said, you know, I cheer for team black people. I'm that person. If there's a basketball game and there's a black guy in the game, or a soccer game, there's a black guy in the game, I'm cheering for the black guy. I'm cheering for the black team. So yeah, it was. That's what it was, right? So what I'm looking for now is I'm curious to see how the mayor of Montgomery handles it. He's a black man. Also, I'm curious to see if they're going to do kind of what Barack Obama did when Henry Louis Gates was served an injustice by a white police officer many years ago. What Obama did, the mistake that he made because he had to kneel to the racial authority of America, was he treated it as if they both did something wrong. Obama acted like both Gates was wrong and the cop was wrong, when really the cop was wrong. Gates was just trying to go into his own house. It was the cop who was ultimately wrong. But Obama had a bear with both of them and put them on the same level, and a lot of people had an issue with that. So I'd be very, very curious to see how this plays out, who gets charged, what tends to happen. I encourage anybody who thinks about just, jumping and beating the brakes off anybody who makes them mad or whatever. Remember, I think that should be your last resort, because a lot of times in a lot of states, when there's a fight, they arrest everybody. First punch, or who was in the wrong, or who was talking crazy to who, or who called you the N-word. So I have to say that, just as a responsible Black father, to say to you, to all the young people, like, I don't think you should see this as a cue to just go whooping the hell out of anybody who makes you mad, because I don't want to have to bail, and I won't bail you out of jail, because I don't know you like that. Right? So, but I do care about you, and I want to see you succeed. I want to see you success. I want to see you smart, and I want to see you do okay in life. Okay, so anyway, that's my 2 cents on the issue. The police actually put them in cuffs. However, they still had to be directed, and I dislike the idea of poking fun about it. We saw with Roland, that was not funny. Yeah, it wasn't funny. I mean, physical violence is not funny, because if somebody gets punched and they fall and hit their head and die, somebody's going to get a lot of time in prison. That happens all the time, right? So I would encourage you, as you talk to your kids about this, don't talk about it in a way that just simply condones what occurred. Give all the complexities of it, give all the nuances of it, and help them understand when it's appropriate to do something physically, when it's not. Because I know people that will let themselves get sent to jail because somebody called them the N-word. I'm not going to let somebody's words cause me to do something physical, but at the same time, if someone attacks you physically, you have to be prepared for that. I had a guy, we had a debate on YouTube, an unhappy debate. He came into my chat and and pretty much threatened physical violence against me. And I was like, oh man, this is ridiculous. They were both, Black men over 45, and we're talking about, resorting to this physical activity. But at the same time, I got security, and my security has weapons. And I said, well, if he decides to be physical, he's going to have a problem, because I got people around me that could be more physical than him. But I hope it doesn't get to that point, because I think that there are better ways to resolve disputes. In this case, it was tough to do, though. In this case, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, there's a part of me that really laughed as I was watching. I was like, look at him, look at him pulling his pants up. Oh man, this is a bad day for you. I was kind of watching it that way. I'm not gonna lie to you. But at the same time, I think that it does speak to the larger race issue in America that never really went away. And believe me, it's going to get more heated as you move toward the election. I think politicians stoke racial flames in order to get you riled up to go vote for whoever they want you to vote for. So anyway, I got to go, guys. We're about to have stock market investing class. And so, by the way, if you want to join the Black Investors Group on Telegram that I created, just go to drboycetelegram.com. It's right there on the screen. Also, we're going to be doing a world premiere in Atlanta this weekend of our new film called B1 the Movie. It's an all-Black movie made by an all-Black company, all-Black cast, and it's a damn good movie. Rizza Islam's in it. We've got Dr. Claude Anderson, Professor James Small, speech from Arrested Development, Akilani Honda, D1, a lot of really great people. So check it out. Just go to b1themovie.com. That URL's on the screen. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. So anyway, that's one last look. This is the beach outside. I'm kind of staying in a little beach house here in Denmark. I'll be home. I'll be back in the country soon. So I'll see you guys soon. God bless you. Hit that thumbs up, share, subscribe on your way out. I'll see you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Peace.